In my opinion, the best senator out there, Senator Ted Cruz. Senator Cruz, thank you for joining us today. I saw you tweeted out about the NBA Finals rating collapse. Is there something more to this as we celebrate the woke culture, taking it on the chin? Is there something more to it than just that, or it just comes down to, I don't watch sports to be lectured?
Well, sure. I mean, when the sports leagues decide that they hate half of their fans and they're going to engage in these hectoring lectures instead of actually putting on the entertainment their fans came to see, you shouldn't be surprised that people find time to do something else and not turn on the TV.
Senator, I've never understood this part of it, that you're a sports league or whatever. You're any one of these corporations who take these positions. You're trying to bring in as many people as possible because that's where the money is. If you know you're doing something divisive, why move forward? Is this just woke college kids of yesteryear now becoming CEOs? Is it public pressure? It just, dollars and cents wise, it's never made sense to me.
Well, I think it is living in a bubble. The NBA played in a bubble this season, and I think they very much live in a bubble where everyone they talk to agrees and is woke and is left-wing and hates the president, and that's the only acceptable view anyone can have. I'm reminded years ago when folks were trying to get Michael Jordan to be politically leftist, and he resisted that for some time, and a pretty famous quote he had is he said, Republicans buy sneakers too.
Well, they've certainly gone a different route these days. All right, Senator, you have a new book out called One Vote Away. And obviously everybody, all eyes in the country are going to be on this upcoming, ACB hearing she's going to get. And we all remember what happened to Kavanaugh. Break down One Vote Away for us, please.
Well, sure. This is a book that I wrote this spring and summer while we were on COVID lockdown, and it addresses the U.S. Supreme Court, how a single Supreme Court seat can change history. And before I was in the Senate, I was a Supreme Court litigator. That's what I did for a living, and so I argued cases in front of the Supreme Court. Each chapter in the book addresses a different constitutional liberty. So there's a chapter on free speech. There's a chapter on religious liberty. There's a chapter on the Second Amendment. There's a chapter on U.S. sovereignty. There's a chapter on elections and democracy, and it goes into detail of Bush versus Gore, which obviously this election we could get right in the middle of. And what I try to do in each chapter is tell war stories and take the reader really behind the scenes, behind the curtain, about landmark cases before the court, big cases, most of which I helped litigate. And so to tell folks the inside story of what's happening at the court, what's happening, who the justices are, what the battles are about. And what's stunning, Jesse, if you look on issue after issue after issue, the big cases that affect our lives, affect our freedoms, over and over again, those cases are 5-4, which means we're just one vote away from losing our fundamental liberties.
What was it like the first time you stood there and argued in front of the Supreme Court? Were you an absolute nervous wreck, or were you just soaking up the fact that that's got to be the coolest thing in the world?
Yes. Terrified and exhilarated at the same time. So first time I argued in front of the court was October 7th, 2003. It was the first Monday in October, which is the first day of the term, and the case I was arguing was a case called Cruz versus Hawkins. Happened to be the first argument the court was hearing that year, and I was 32 years old at the time, and I had prepared like crazy. I'd done 4 moots. I'd spent over a month doing nothing but getting ready for that argument. And I remember I went to bed the night before, went to bed early, said, all right, I got this, I'm ready. And I laid in bed the entire night, wide awake, staring at the ceiling. I did not sleep a wink. And I remember kind of thinking there about 3, 4 in the morning going, all right, Cruz, maybe you're not quite so calm and cool and collected as you convinced yourself you were. And I got up there. So one of the things that is remarkable about the Supreme Court courtroom is how small it is in terms of how close you are to the judges. The courtroom itself is relatively large. It's got really high ceilings. They're like 20 feet high, and they have inlaid 24-karat gold in the ceilings of the courtroom. But where you're standing, the podium is maybe 6 feet from the bench. The bench is, you could almost reach out and shake hands with the Chief Justice. And it's, I've argued in a lot of different courts, the setup is unusual in that the justices are so close to you. And the way an argument goes, you start off, every argument starts the same, where you open with, Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court. And you begin your argument. And typically within seconds, the justices will jump in and begin firing questions at you. And it's not like you're giving this grand oration. It's not, it's not Martin Luther King or Clarence Darrow, moving the mountains. It is 9 of the smartest, most dangerous judges on the face of the planet coming at you. I've sort of analogized it to like being a chunk of tuna thrown into a school of sharks. But what makes it so fun is typically in an oral argument. On a big contentious case, you'll have 3-4 justices who are with you, 3-4 justices who are against you, and 2 or 3 who are kind of in the middle. The ones who are against you, they'll ask questions that are not informational. They're not, Jesse, tell me what was happening here. But instead, they're questions that are designed to just gut your case, to just fillet you and make your position look so ridiculous that the 2 or 3 justices who are in the middle won't side with you. And so the justices argue through you to each other because they typically haven't talked about the case at all. So this is the first time the 9 justices are talking to each other. So a justice will ask a question, and it's the beginning sometimes of a whole series of 5 or 6 questions. And so you have to be, when you get the first question, think about, all right, what's the slippery slope? Where does this go if I say yes or no? And anticipate that any answer you give, it could get you one justice and lose you 2. It's absolutely exhilarating.
Ladies and gentlemen, read the book, One Vote Away. I apologize, Senator. I'm up against the break. That was awesome. Senator Cruz, everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jesse.
Very cool stuff.